In business, as in life, having and setting goals is one of the most important things what you can do. Without goals, it is very easy for you to just simply go through life aimlessly and, more importantly, ineffectually. However, more so than just setting goals, it's also important to set the proper goals and expectations. And on to this episode, that is exactly what we will be discussing. And to do so, I do have a very special guest. He is a veteran podcast host, business owner, and business consultant who has consulted with over 40 businesses in a variety of industries and sectors. And he has helped them with everything from marketing, bookkeeping, and operations. And best of all, he has over a 90% success rate. So today, everyone, welcome Ken Bachman, the segment.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for being on. This is something, that is super important to me because the whole purpose of this show, Sundays with Josue, is to serve as education and inspiration for the next generation of entrepreneurs. So talking about things like mindset, setting goals, etc., especially on something like YouTube where we can go and help out more people over time is something that I'm really passionate about. So thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise, that's one of my goals as well. We kind of talked before. So yeah, man. I'm glad to help out as many people as I can.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, Ken, we've talked and we've had a chance to get to know each other a little bit, but for those of you who don't know, who is Ken Bachman, aka the Street Consultant?
Um, Ken is a variety of people, man. But most importantly, a son, a father.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just like you said, a veteran. Was in the Marine Corps for 5 years. Served in Iraq. Got out mainly because I wanted to spend more time with my kids, and as
Mm-hmm.
well, um, through that time in the military, I definitely grew up to kind of see where I wanted to go. At the time, my father, he was an entrepreneur. Um, he was cleaning floors, but he couldn't never seem to get to the next level. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so as I got older, I was in the Marine Corps and trying to work my way out. I was like, well, why don't I go to school? I can come back and help him out on the back end because I'm not going around mopping no floors no more. Like I done served,
Yeah.
I done, you know what I'm saying? Like I got
Yeah.
my back hurt, like ain't working. So I went to ACC, went to University of Florida, graduated. After I left there, I came back home. Needless to say, by the time I got back, my dad was working at the VA hospital. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, you know what I'm saying? Steady job now, benefits, everything like that. So I was kind of now stuck there, like, okay, what do I do? Um, the military it gave me a great way to kind of, you know what I'm saying, getting out and being a disabled veteran, gave me an avenue to kind of really see what I wanted to do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, why don't I just give this back to the people? Like I got this information that obviously helped my father, but it didn't work out as such. But I can still there's still people out there like my father that need this
Yeah.
information. That's you know what I'm saying. They know how to go get it. They know how to get the money. They know how to do that, but they don't know how to scale it to the next level. So
Yeah.
and that's where I came into play. At first, it was just Ken Bachman, the Balkman firm. Um, and then as I kind of grew, you know how you grow in business, I kind of came the name the street consultant. Just
Mm-hmm.
like I started off, Ken is a variety of people. Like you can literally see me in the street, like anywhere from Tampa, St. Pete, anywhere really. Like
Yeah.
talking not only because one of my passions is black business, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
always in the street with black business owners. So that may be like in maybe less privileged neighborhoods, like. But you know what I'm saying. To market off of that, a lot of business consultants, you come to their office and you sit down and you talk business.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm gonna come to you where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
small businesses, they don't have the time to come to my office, sit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to, you know what I'm saying, 30 minutes apart, come upstairs, just
Yeah.
like, when can you know what I'm saying? So I was getting a lot of that, like, can you come to me? Can you come to me? And I'm like, yeah, I can come to you. I mean, I ain't doing nothing but sitting in this office. Um, so yeah, and that's where kind of the street consultant came from.
Mm.
And that's how I've been doing it now. Like you said, I've been blessed to help over 40 businesses, mainly right here in the Central Florida area, Tampa Bay area. Um, a lot of them are minority or veteran-owned businesses
Mm-hmm.
because those are kind of my passions.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, man, and then like I said, well, I guess we'll kind of get into. They'll probably see it on the screen, but I also have a website, kind of directed towards helping more. There it is, businesses, Tampa Bay Black-owned business. It's a free platform for entrepreneurs and customers. Entrepreneurs can go on there, sign up, put their business on there. You can, you know what I'm saying, customers or fellow entrepreneurs will be able to email you, see your social media pages, all that information, to be able to connect and grow each other's businesses, because that's really the only way we're going to, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
grow is the network. My slogan that I like to use is, your network approves your net worth. So,
Mm-hmm.
and who you have around you is going to determine, okay, how much value you have. That's in the
Mm-hmm.
who Ken Bachman, aka the street consultant, is.
Yeah, I love it. And what's really cool about you is the fact that you have such a variety of experiences, right? So you served in the Marine Corps. You've also watched your father grow his business and hit bottlenecks that stopped him from scaling. And you also yourself has worked as a consultant for a variety of businesses in different sectors, which to me is really an asset to you to be able to speak to some of these things we're going to talk about. So the first thing is, even with what you're doing with the Tampa Bay Black-owned businesses and your consulting and even your consulting style, right, of going to businesses and instead of having them come to you, it seems like you really have found your purpose and what really drives you and motivates you. So, how did you go about doing that? Did you kind of hop from thing to thing? Did you fall into it serendipitously? How did you find like your passion and your calling, so to speak?
Um, I guess like so. My passion, like when I got the military, my passion was always, just to give back to the community. If anyone knows me, I do a number of things in the community as far as youth football coach,
Mm,
and help and sponsor different teams or events or, different things going on in the neighborhood that are great things like, neighborhood boxing league. I'm giving them a shout out.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The community trying to stop the violence. My good friend Judah is the owner of that. Then, so I'm just always out in the community, always out and about. And like I said before, I'm always trying to support small businesses. So just kind of being out there, and like I said, the military kind of gives me that freedom to where I can
mm-hmm,
out there like that. It kind of all just kind of fell into place for me. Like it was a time though, like I said, I was in the office, I was in the Sykes building on the 26th floor, and I was sitting in my office. I would be like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I would have clients come, clients would show up, but then some wouldn't because, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of my small business owners, they're on the front lines working as well too. They don't have a team, you know what I'm saying, in front of them to where they can take off and just be the owner, you know,
mm-hmm.
per se. So it kind of just fell into one and two, um, and like I said, just like I said,
Yeah.
place, and I was going out more, and I loved it because now I get to see different things. I love being outside in nature and traveling anyway.
Ah,
So it kind of just
was a
all
perfect fit.
the well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that I've learned about entrepreneurs, especially doing this show and talking to more of them, is the fact that oftentimes it seems that people find their passion in one of two ways. So either one, trying different things out until they find something they love, or two, doing something they think and they have an assumption they would love anyway. So like you mentioned, you enjoyed, being in nature, you enjoyed being out and about. And also too, it seems you have a genuine care for people. So it makes perfect sense that consulting is kind of like where you found yourself. So that
Yeah,
makes it's cool to see that journey. So for yourself, what are some of the things you've noticed? Because I'm sure you've noticed, different and you've experienced and seen different levels of success in business owners. So did you see any differences in the mindset, in particular with goals between those who are making higher income or maybe who had a more stable and profitable business versus those that did not?
definitely, it's definitely a mindset thing. I think the ones that succeeded and keep succeeding is because, they know it takes hard work. They they
Mm,
they don't just, a lot of times now it's a lot of quick turnaround. You want quick gratification. It's that it doesn't work like that. Like you have your unicorns out there that, you know what I'm saying, might just take that one flash across the eyeball and that person sees it and they blow up. But for the
mm-hmm.
it takes years to build whatever that you're gonna build. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so just that and just honing in on, you know what I'm saying, really objectives and key results. Like I
Yeah.
feel a lot of business owners that I run into, they don't. I ask them, okay, I'm gonna ask them, what's your purpose? They might tell me their purpose, their mission. But once I get into objectives and what's your key results, it gets quiet.
Ah.
So then it's like, you know what I'm saying? That's basically what a problem is. You know what I'm saying? Now
Mm-hmm.
down to what are your objectives? What results are you trying to reach at?
Yeah.
So
So
that,
now that begs the question. So how do you? Because also too, something I know about entrepreneurs a lot of times is they're so multi passionate, right? They want to make content and make video content to help spread their impact, but they also want to help and give back in terms of charity. So how do you help someone who they have a really good idea of what their purpose is, what changes they want to make? How do you help them take that big vision and concise it down into objectives, smaller steps, and smaller milestones and goals?
I mean, it's just, I mean, obviously the one-on-one consulting, just sitting down and really breaking down what your business does, what it, you know what I'm saying, your competitors, what your competitors are doing, what's the market like. Like that's a lot of times too. We jump into business, but we don't really do a lot of market research,
Yeah.
especially small business owners. Like the biggest thing is researching your competitors. Like what are you
Mm-hmm.
doing in the market? Um, so yeah, just doing that and then breaking it down. Like I said, break because yeah, they have these broader. They'll start with, "Oh, I want to be a millionaire."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, before we get there, you got, you know what I'm saying, you gotta be a thousandaire. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You gotta make 10,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, everybody want that just pop instant gratification. So it's just like trying to really bring them and two, sometimes it's kind of funny because I have clients that, you know what I'm saying, they won't, like if they, it's a month go by and they don't see that boom, they done blew up and made $1 million, they're mad, right? So you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, cancel services or whatever the case may be, that's fine with me. But then it's like, okay, and then they see, you know what I'm saying, like it's really like they try to do it on their own or whatever the case may be, but it's hard work. Like you're
Yeah.
not just gonna get this overnight. Like so then I mean like it just depends on the person. Sometimes, like I said, it might take for them to leave, to come back,
Mm-hmm.
for you to break them down and really see what the goal and the vision is. Or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, you can really just talk to them and be like, hey, this is what we need to do, and you'll have those clients be like, okay, now it makes sense. That's why I haven't reached where I wanted to reach yet because
Yeah.
I'm skipping F through T. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Yeah. What you're saying is so viscerally apparent to me in my own experience because when I first left the medical field and I wanted to become an entrepreneur and business owner, I think I took it for granted just how much structure and how many systems are in place when you work in an established company or business. When I
correct,
left State Farm to open up my own brokerage, I realized just how quickly, you know, that State Farm is a multi-billion-dollar company because they have so many systems in place. But then you think about it, they've been around over 100 years. So there's a reason, and there's been hours and hours of work that have gone into creating those things for them.
correct.
Um,
They done experienced everything, so now they have all the procedures and policies. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Like a big thing. I have. You know what I'm saying? Even with my father per se, and I give my cousin. Um, he used to always um, call me when I was in the military and be like, "Oh, well, I sent your cousin on a job, but I got to call back because he ain't do it the right way." Or
mm,
I'm like, "Well, I mean, did you? What you do?" "Oh, I told him he was watching me. Da da da. What do you do?" Like, so crazy part about it. Now he's in human resources at the VA. What?
ah,
So now it's like, okay, what do you give your new hires when they come in? You give them
mm-hmm,
a big ass pamphlet, you know what I'm
yep,
saying, of what to do, not to do, everything else. We just hire somebody. Oh, we might do a background check, but we just,
mm-hmm,
oh yeah, Sal, come join. Just watch me do this job, and now you got it on your own. No,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not how it works.
And what's cool and like what's so interesting about that, right, is when you think about those different scenarios, you have a business that has an established training protocol. When they get hired, they get background checked, then they go through this week of training versus a business who, you know, they kind of like train them on the fly, right? They just have them shadow. There's massive differences in retention of the employees,
Correct.
the quality of the work. Like you said, your father had to spend time going back to that site and redoing the job and having to deal with customer service and then a decreased client satisfaction because the training in the front end wasn't tight, you
Yep.
know? So
And revenue,
now,
because now you spending double gas to go back, double products to go back and clean it. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, so now that's cutting into your revenue too. So you probably lost on that job.
Yeah. So I think that's something. But then what's interesting is when you talk about it, and I myself have been guilty of this, we set up like oftentimes with entrepreneurs, what I've seen is that we set up massive goals and aspirations. We have this massive impact we want to make, but then we don't necessarily do the work and put in the systems that are congruent with that goal, right? So if you say you want to make $1 million in profit in a year within the next 3 years of opening your business, well, you're not going to be working 8 hours a day,
Correct.
unless you're a unicorn. So you have to, if you want to
Correct.
make $1 million a year, you have to admit to I want to do $1 million a year type of work and have those
Yeah.
systems in place. And
And
I
then
think that's
not
mhm.
not not only that, I, you do have to have the $1 million work set, but too, okay, like you said, $1 million in let's say 3 years. Okay, let's say your first year, you say your goal is 100,000, but
Mhm.
say you don't reach that goal of 100,000. Say you're short 70, you only get 70,000. Well, that next year you don't just say, oh well, let me go back to 100,000 because I didn't make it again. No, you double your goal. You say, okay,
Mhm.
get 500,000, and maybe now you don't get 500,000, but you get 325,000, which
Mhm.
is higher than that 100,000 that was the first year. And then say, like you said, by year three, 1 million, you're shooting for year three, and now look, maybe you made 1.3 million
Yeah.
the third year, but you just gotta stay with your goals and stay with increasing your goals as well. I think a lot of times too, like if we don't reach a goal, we'll stay on that goal until we reach it.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
time to go to the next goal. You know what I'm saying? So like breaking that down into the monthly and yearly things and staying with those goals, even if we don't reach them. Because
Ah.
if we stay with the program and stay with the plan, we're gonna reach the end goal.
Yeah. Now here's a this question is a bit controversial because I've heard arguments from both sides and I see validity in both sides of the argument. But that do you think goals should be do you think the goals you set should be realistic or hyper aggressive and huge, like overly large? What are your thoughts?
I'm a realistic person by nature,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to business, I like to say I'm kind of in the middle. Um,
Okay.
I feel like the situation it just it's different situations in different times and that's what comes with a lot of research. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you actually spend the research and the time, you know what I'm saying, seeing how your competitor grew, seeing what they did, seeing what they went through, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they had hiccups too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So seeing all that, then it will, you know what I'm saying? Like you can be able to tell, okay, do I need to be realistic or do I need to shoot for the stars?
Ah, gotcha. I like that. The competitive research point. I want to talk about a story I have from a different friend, but I want to touch on this concept of large goals or realistic ones. So personally, I've become of the opinion of setting really really large goals, and the reason why I think is because I think there's a concept that you would never
Not
you will.
cut you
Mhm.
off,
Yeah.
but I think the large goals should be like your long term goals. Like
Yes.
your short term goals shouldn't be like some massive goal.
Hmm. I want to
To,
be a billionaire
like,
by tomorrow, type of thing.
yeah, yeah, correct.
Yeah, and so yeah, that goes up to this point of right of, and I agree. I think that your long term goals should be massive because the power of time can really work for you. There's an insurance company by the name of Goosehead Insurance, and they were started by a husband and wife, and over 15 years they were able to build $1 billion company using a franchise model. And for me, I see that, and that encourages me, who's also in insurance, of saying, well, why can't I also build $1 billion company over the span of my lifetime? And I think for me, at least, having really large goals removes a limiting belief for myself. So one thing that I do is I think to myself, if I was given 100 years, could I achieve this goal? And if the answer is yes, it's okay. Okay, well now, is there a way to achieve it faster? I don't know. So I think for myself, I like what you said. Having short-term goals should be a lot smaller, so you can conceptualize them and take action. But long-term, for sure, I think can be allowed to grow and expand, because I think people often underestimate what you can do given 15 years of hard work and dedication to one singular thing.
Facts.
You know?
Definitely. I'm sorry. I
Mhm.
just this over.
Oh, no worries, no worries. So on that note, though, so we talked about setting goals, we talked about market research. Here's a strategy that I would love to hear your opinion on. So I had a friend who was a wedding photographer and videographer, and what they did to do market research on their competitors was they would actually fill out an application to get a quote, or they would call up their competitors and see what their customer service like, what their response time to a quote was like, how did they speak. So what do you think about doing stuff like that as an initial bit of market research?
Yeah, that's like you said, a little bit. That's part of it. You definitely you can't skip that step.
Mm-hmm.
No, you definitely should be calling your competitors or even going into their store and seeing how they're set up, seeing what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like anything, you know, when you tell you when you have different leaders, oh, pick the good things you like about this leader, pick the
Ah,
thing. Same kind of concept, you know what I'm saying, with the business. But like you said, you breaking it down even more. What's their customer service like? What's their response time like? Um, is their space big enough? Like for me,
mm,
that's a lot of things like I even do on my back end before I even go to clients.
yeah.
Because like a lot of times my clients are kind of handpicked. I would per se. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I like I said, being out in community, I'm always around small businesses, black-owned businesses. So, and I'm the one great thing the Marine Corps taught me is attention to detail. So,
Ah,
so even though I'm sitting here talking or whatever, I'm still paying attention to everything that's going around me. But now it's in a business sense. So
mm,
when I'm somewhere, I'm like, oh, they could be doing this better. Oh, okay, they're doing great on that. Oh, that needs a little tweaking. Oh,
mm-hmm.
like everything from even maybe the lighting in their restaurant or even
Ah,
down to the packaging of eyelashes, like it like every small detail. So then when I come across it, then it's like for me, like I said, I'm kind of always in the street, always, and a lot of people know me like I'm kind of brash and honest. I go to the owner and tell them, hey, look, I think this is what you need help in, this, that, and third. And 9 times out of 10, they do. And then it's just either a cost thing or a pride thing because
mm,
they now it's like, oh, somebody knows I need this. How does he know? Like,
yeah,
then it's
yeah.
like, okay, well, let me give you my card. It might make a couple cents, might not, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
definitely, yeah. That's how that works there.
So what? Let's say you walked into. I'll use a restaurant. So I just went out to dinner recently at a restaurant. You go to a restaurant.
You got some
You know.
good seafood too.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good. I agree. So let's say you went to a restaurant and you were there to consult with them, right? And you saw that there was an issue in whatever it may be. How would you go about helping that business owner set some goals up to address that issue? Let's say customer service, for example, as an easy one.
Okay. I mean, the first thing is like what we kind of talked about before. Like what policies and procedures do you have in
Mm,
place for your employees? That's question number one. Not too often, like I said, dealing with small businesses, do I get past question number one? Uh,
man.
but once I get there, then because really, if you have question number one, you really won't have no problems. You shouldn't have any problems with your customer service or anything else because you have a handbook, they have a guide, and you should be holding them accountable to that. So
Mm,
you shouldn't have any problems. So that's really where it comes down to as far as customer service is okay, what do you have in place as far as policy procedures on how they should act, what they should do from like you said, a restaurant, even down to the cooks, down to the recipes. I know a lot of restaurants, they don't the one cook might know the recipe to everything.
oh man.
How? Why? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
That's beyond me. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I mean, too, that's just kind of dealing in the black community, which we kind of have a lot of trust issues,
Mm,
especially business. Um, so that's definitely something we gotta kind of cross over and be better at as minorities. But
Yeah.
yeah, as far as customer service, that's where it starts at. Policies and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like if you look at anybody's handbook, whoever you like the best, look what Chick-fil-A.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure when those 16-year-old kids, your daughter, son got hired, he's gonna bring home something like this.
Yep. I
read it,
remember.
read it, and sign it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's no question. So even if you didn't read it and you violate one of those things on there, guess what? You gone.
Yeah. And that's
You know
how
what I'm
you're
saying?
held
So
to that
like I
standard.
said, with us though, like I said, we just hire, and it's kind of a lot of the time it's just the shadow. Oh, just watch me do this, or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying. When a problem arises, oh, this is how you do it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
I love
that's
that.
that's basically as far as customer service.
Mm-hmm. Let's. I feel like we're almost doing a case study here, right? So let's say boom, you took the business owner. They have now increased customer service. They've increased revenue and overall efficiency of their company and organization by having standard operating protocols that's set in place. So now like you mentioned, you have to hold your employees accountable to that standard. So as a leader, what are some things that you recommend you can do to actually hold people accountable to the standard and to the standard operating protocols you have now developed?
What you mean as far as holding standard? I mean, it's right there in the rule book. But I mean, as far as let's just say I mean theft.
Mm,
I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean, are we gonna really? Am I really gonna keep you working at my cashier register, knowing you done stole from me? Like you
mm-hmm.
like, and then two, like maybe even like you now you trespass off the property. Like if you steal from whoever Dix or whatever else, you gonna be trespassed and not able allowed to go there no more. So
Yeah,
if an employee, especially if you're an employee or even just a shopper, so
yeah,
same rules would apply. You know what I'm saying? We need to hold the same standards. If you steal from my company or whatever the case may be, you need to be arrested and trespassed and don't come around my establishment anymore. Uh,
yeah,
I mean, and then different little things. I mean, from finding, I find that's a big one. You know what I'm saying? Because you will have those minor things. Maybe their customer service was bad. Maybe your employee was having a bad day and he snapped on the customer. Maybe it wasn't too
yeah.
bad, but maybe he just snapped on the customer, whatever. So a lot of times they'll just overlook it. No,
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily have to fire him, but dock his pay.
Mm,
That's
yeah,
what that's what they do anywhere else. If you leave a bad review on all these companies, their employees get hit for that.
yeah. There's
Man, like,
consequences.
that doctors their pay. So
Yeah,
it's the same thing. If you tarnishing my brand with because you had a bad day or whatever your customer service, that's a knock on you. That's gonna start
yeah,
down in your pay.
yeah.
So that as well.
Hmm. So let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the comments real quick. So we have one from my Kardashian. He gave two here. He has so one that's a good quote that I love. That's shoot for the moon. At least you'll land in the stars. That's one
Yeah.
thing I think that's so true. And we're gonna touch on the concept of setting bigger goals as a business owner. That I think is really going to be important for our listeners. And also too, he's like an episode in the hammock idea. I think is really he liked it, and I do as well. And that brings me a question, Ken. That what you're talking about makes a lot of sense. And it's something that I took for granted because I've been doing it ever since my friend exposed me to the idea of calling, his competitors and looking at their website. Like he went really in depth with me about what he does to do market research. So to me, copying people who are successful first and then recreating it with my own spin has come second nature, so to speak. So, but do you find, because what I'm getting from you is that it's important to structure your company properly, like what the larger companies are doing. They have standard operating protocols. They have consequences for, when you don't perform to a certain standard. They hold you accountable. All these
Right.
different things. In your experience, have you? Because I can imagine this to be the case, but have you found it to occur where you're meeting a business owner and you tell them, "Hey, have you maybe thought about doing X, Y, Z?" And they kind of like say, "Oh, we're just a small company, that we're not trying to be and trying to do all that type of stuff." Like, do you find that happening?
Yeah, I do. It's actually pretty frustrating because even though I work with small businesses, I don't want them to think that they're a small business because I want them to get out that mindset and think that they're going to be business bigger than a small business. Like, and then two, a lot of times, if I have a client like that, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
say like a lot of mine are handpicked. Like, really, if you want to be a small business and you just want to be a small business and like you are comfortable with like not progressing, not trying to scale your business and hire employees or do different stuff, then like I mean, there's really no need for my services. You know,
Mm.
understand? You know what I'm saying? So, so when I have clients like that, oh, I'm just a small business. I don't da da da. My next question is, do you always want to be a small business, or do you want to go up? And
Yeah.
then that's where we get to. They,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, you'll have some people that's comfortable with, oh, I just want to, you know what I'm saying, be the one doing the job because I'm gonna be the one getting the money and I'm gonna be the one be able to control everything. I won't have to worry about nobody else and no other hands in the pot or anything else. Hey, that's cool. Then you know what I'm saying? I'll give you free tips. I'll give you free
Yeah.
advice. Like I, you know what I'm saying? You could call me, text me, and I'll give you free stuff. But I'm not, if you don't want to really grow, you're not gonna really
Mm.
ask the questions to grow. So you just gonna so the
Mm.
stuff that I'm gonna give you for free is really just really nothing because you don't really want to go anywhere anyways. So
Ah. That's actually a very interesting response to that question. I think that's a really good one though, because instead of you're kind of like meeting them where they're at. If there's someone who's trying to grow and build a bigger business and have systems in place and do all those things that can help your business, scale, you're working
correct,
with them and you're giving those techniques. But if they are comfortable where they're at, then you're giving them some, free tips and you're giving them some advice, but you're not trying to change who they are, which is actually really that's actually a really good approach. And I think that helps probably keep your job more enjoyable for you because you're not trying to,
definitely, definitely. Because I mean,
yeah.
like I said, I think it only took me one time to kind of really be like trying to argue with somebody and try to put in more work into their company than they wanted to put into.
Mm.
And I was like, whoa, hold on, what am I doing? It's not what I signed up for. So yeah,
Yeah.
it only took me one time to kind of do that. But yeah, so it's definitely like meet them where they're at, and if they want to go further, I grab them by the hand and we can go further. If
Man.
you stay where you at, I give you the I'll dump down those tidbits and stuff for you. So I mean I don't.
Yeah, I respect that a lot because I think oftentimes we're so easy for us to project our desires onto other people. Like just because we want to have a business that's larger and huge, maybe
Mm-hmm.
someone's more comfortable having a smaller scale mom and pop operation. That's okay,
Correct.
And I think that's about like giving them what they want is super important versus giving
Correct.
them what you would want.
Yeah. Correct. Correct. And
So
I think that's what kind of just kind of keeps me in good standing, good just I like to say, you know what I'm saying, I can kind of go anywhere and people gonna recognize me or my face is kind of good because like I say, I'm not gonna turn you away or just like be like, oh no, I can't do nothing for you. I'm still gonna like or even like I say, even if you business and like I said, I deal with a lot of small businesses. So, and a lot of them, like that one man operation or one, two, 3 man operations, they might not necessarily have the money. So, like,
mm,
I don't really get into this for the money. So, like I said, if they trying to go to the next level, look, we ain't got to worry about me getting paid right now. Like, because, like I said, if you committed, I'm committed. I know where we gonna go. You know what I'm saying? This 1 year, 2 year, 3 year plan. Then you know what I'm saying? I'll get taken care of. God gonna bless me like He has and continuously has. So yeah,
yeah, I love that. So, and that also as a side note is a real testament to how much you believe in your own services. Because if you're willing to defer your payment until they become successful, you have skin in the game,
correct.
110%. So, as you develop as an entrepreneur, you've gone from growing up in a household where you've seen your father own a business and grow a business, and then you went out to the
Well,
Marine Corps.
he didn't really grow it. He didn't really grow it.
Ah, he did.
He grew it. Like I said, he grew it because I'm not gonna downplay my father. He did because he like I said he had a floor clean business and he had a lot of business. He had maybe over 200 stores from gas stations, Amscots,
Mm-hmm.
money advance, the Ace Cash money advance from here to Miami. Um,
Mm,
so like he was the one really like taught me the foundation of networking and just grinding. But like I said, seeing, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, you picking and you choose, and then I seen his downfall, where his downfall was, and it was on the lack of structure. Like he would bring the money home, but he wasn't putting it back in the company, like
Ah.
or like I'd be like, oh well, he'd be like, oh, just go get the soap out the trunk. I'd be like, well, how much soap you need for this job? Oh, I don't know, maybe just grab both gallons. Okay, well,
Oh.
how much stuff we putting on the floor? Just pour it on there. Like so
Yeah.
you can't now you can't even, you know what I'm saying, really tellate what's revenue, what's profit, you know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying, you really have to break all that down to see like
Mm-hmm.
how much soap does it take for me to do this job. Then okay, from all the other expenses and then add it up to then know what you can really charge. Because nine
Yeah.
times out of ten, he it was like a just a whatever. Like it was $100. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he just needed some money or whatever to feed us or something. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? He was undercharged, which is
Ah.
another big thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially starting out, it's like we always want to undercharge for everything, for our services, for our products. Like, and I
Yeah.
mean, I do it too. I'm guilty. I think every business owner is guilty of this. I think it's just like a confidence thing, but that's just one of the mistakes that I think that's along with the other. Excuse me. That's one of the other biggest mindset things is underselling ourselves. I think.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and we kind of always do it because we think, oh, nobody's gonna pay for it, nobody's gonna do it,
Ah.
and it's crazy because I'm like, man, look, I'm a living testimony. I promise you, every other entrepreneur is a living testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has thought nobody was gonna pay the price that they gonna pay for whatever service or product, and now look, 2 years, 3 years, for me, 8 years later, and people paying it with no problem. I'm
Yeah.
still paid. Like I ain't even got to. I ain't even got to do nothing. Oh, deposit came in. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I think
Like,
that's a beautiful story too to think about, and also there's so much like meat on that bone, so to speak, because from the mindset of not measuring the inventory being used per for the job, the mindset concept of oh well no one's gonna pay me 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, etc. a month
mm-hmm,
because they won't value my services enough. All those things I think come from the mindset and start there because it's all like subjective data because like you said
right.
you live it, and that's a very common entrepreneurial experience where over time you realize that people would have paid you more for your services or that you should have been tracking more, taking your bit like your business more like a business and a career. And that's what this show is here to talk about these things. So and also to kind of like help people on their journey kind of like jumpstart and skip over certain mindset blocks and humps that we had to go through when we were going through our journey. So on that note though, for yourself, how did you see your mindset grow and evolve as you have gone through your entrepreneurial journey? Like what would you say is your one biggest mindset development that you've gained over your journey as an entrepreneur?
Um, what do you mean, like so to speak, when the light switch?
Yep.
I think as far as those services, when the light switch for me, somebody telling me honestly. I was helping out my cousin. Another shout out, Wild for Fitness, Jim, and he's located in Temple Terrace off 56th Street, around the corner from King High School. But I was helping him out for a time, and I went to him and I was just like, man, I'll do it for free. Like I see you,
Mm.
you need, you know what I'm saying? Like you got it. You like he fitness wise, like he'll work the shit out your ass. I don't need to curse. I'm sorry. He'll work you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
he'll work you to the bone. Like he'll get you the results you want. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying? Back then, like I said, it was just him. So I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You could, you know what I'm saying? Page. He wasn't really on social medias and stuff like that. On his page and stuff. So and I was just like, hey, I do it for free. And then he was just like, well, why you don't charge? I was just like, I ain't think people was gonna pay for it. Like I
Mm.
to just help my daddy out. I ain't really think
Yeah.
of like a big scale. Like I really just when I did it was to come back and help my dad and build a family business and you know what I'm saying, generational wealth because I had my two young daughters at that time. I had my son. So
Hmm.
and it was just trying to, you know what I'm saying, get something in the Balkman name and be able to pass down to them.
Yeah. Was that
So
before or after you went to school, by the way?
what when
When he
after,
said that.
that was after I went to school because I was basically back in Tampa. Like I said, my dad was at the VA hospital, so I was basically back in Tampa, just coaching youth football with him, and then my boys was working out with him, and then like I said, that's how kind of we got that. I was going there and everything else, and so
Man.
yeah, it was after school, and then like I said, because my dad was at the VA, so he basically let the business go.
Yeah.
Um, so like I said, I was kind of just standing there like, oh, people really gonna like. I I really didn't like I said even then I didn't even like I said I knew I had the knowledge to be able to help, but I didn't even think to put
Man,
one
a price on it. Yeah.
yeah to be able to put a price on it too because I guess because this is back in 2014. I mean nowadays you see all these business consultants, all these
Yeah.
coaches, and they
Yep.
charging all these outrageous prices and everything else. But back in 2014, like it wasn't really like
As common. Yeah.
black and then young business consultants. You know what I'm saying? So like when I'm looking around, it's a lot of old white men. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's a couple of old black guys too. But so for me, I'm looking at them and I'm like, damn, I'm this young black kid just out of school, veteran. Like, ain't nobody gonna pay me to,
Man.
to help them with their business when you got these guys here full of knowledge, wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like, they done been in the game for 30 years now. I'm just turning 30. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, how I'm gonna compete with that? So that was kind of like my mindset going out, and then like I said, it just kind of from just like, hey, and then him be like, why don't you charge? Like,
And that was the moment. That was the moment the light
that was
switch
the moment, and
turned on.
I was like, what? You right? And then, like I said, just from that and always being out different places and just wanting to be in the community and help out the community, it just like I kind of
It
got
snowballed from there.
our business world even more, and
Yeah.
so definitely, yeah, that was the moment right there.
I love that. Hearing the story about when an entrepreneur's like light switch and when they had that epiphany is always a beautiful thing. So to know that you got out of school and it was that moment where your cousin, when you helped him out, that he was saying, "Why don't you charge for this? This is really valuable." That's a beautiful thing when someone admits out of their own mouth that this has been valuable to me. You should be compensated for your time and your effort. And then from there, it just grew and expanded. So we're coming up on 40 minutes right now, so we have to wrap up pretty soon. But I want to ask one final question I always like to ask, and that is, what advice would you give to your younger self if you had a chance, like a time machine?
Man, what advice would I give to my younger self? Um, kind of like he said, shoot for the moon, land on the stars.
Oh, yep.
I definitely did develop this. I definitely developed this the confidence and where I'm at now over time. I
Mm,
wish I kind of had that confidence and stuff going in. I think it was always there. It was just like I said, you kind of second guess yourself,
yeah.
and I think I second guessed myself for a long time. So I mean, I would tell my younger self, you know what I'm saying? Don't second guess yourself. Just trust your gut and go for it.
Love that. So, Ken, where can people go ahead and find you, brother?
You can find me on multiple platforms, multiple streams. I'm linked on LinkedIn. I believe it's the Street Consultant. On Facebook, I'm the Street Consultant. On Instagram, I'm the Street Consultant. On Facebook as well, you can find me on Ken Bachman II. I as well have a podcast out highlighting Black excellence. Kind of, we started here in the Central Florida area, but we're gonna kind of expand all the way out. Got a
Nice.
few in Georgia coming up, but the podcast is By Any Means Podcast. We're on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple. We will be on the Roku TV channel
Oh,
in
nice.
about a week or so. Just going through getting the videos processed and sent over to them. So we'll be on
Perfect.
Roku as well. Um, you can find me at my website, uh,
Hmm.
wtbbblackownedbusiness.com. Now, as well as myself, but over 100 entrepreneurs on different industries, different sectors, from hair to nursing to lawyers, doctors. So it's definitely you can find me there and reach out there and find all my social media pages and my phone number, email. Um, and yeah, man, a few shout outs real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Trap Vintage, they're my sponsor on my podcast, my clothing sponsor. Um, a lot of drips. That's where I host my podcast at, home of the drip fries, down in Progress Village, Florida, Tampa, Florida, but Progress Village. Awesome. And Closer to Our Dreams, which was up on the screen. That's who well, I started off with the Balkman firm, but then I met Mr. Um, Dove Weaver, the owner of Close to Our Dreams. We partnered up. Now I work under the Tampa division for Close to Our Dreams. So definitely wanted to give them a shout out, and the New Standard Group. I mean,
Yep.
I would be remiss not to shout them out. That's how we met.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting through the New Standard Group. Bunch of black men here in the Tampa area getting together, entrepreneurs, trying to set a new standard, not only in
Yeah.
business, in manhood, fatherhood, all aspects of life as being a man. So, yeah, man, I think I covered everybody.
Yeah.
Shout out to my host on my podcast, OC. Um, but yes, sir. I
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much for being on here, bro. This was really good. I really enjoyed talking to you, man, and having a chance to share some value. I think everything we talked about, from setting larger goals, from having processes and procedures, even as a small business owner, keeping keeping your employees accountable, and not being afraid to scale, and also not being afraid to charge more for your services. So just for one, to charge, but also charge more. These are great concepts that I definitely wish I was exposed to earlier in my own personal entrepreneurial journey. And I'm sure this is going to help somebody else out as well. So once again, thank you, Ken, for so much. And thank you everyone who's watching live as well as on the replay. And we'll see you guys next Sunday.
Thank you. Have a blessed one.
You as well.